Welcome home, Raiders. This week, there's a lot more alpha these days, so why don't we talk about it? This is Convert to Raid number 204.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the world of Warcraft.
Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is December 8th, 2015. It is now 9:17 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I'm the host of this little show. And as always, the players are here. Lots of players today, as always. First up, let's go to his bunker somewhere in California. It's Dairies!
Not quite a bunker, but close enough.
It's a bunker.
I'll take it. It's actually Dalaran. I'm surprised you can't tell the difference.
It's a loft. It's fine. It's all
Dalaran
in
California.
Good. It's all good. All right, and then let's also go to our friend from LOS Line of Sight Gaming. I'll say it that way. Then people won't say Los Gaming. It's Tovo. Hey, man.
Hey, I had something really funny to say, but I saw Dairies and I forgot.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that'll happen. And our friend from Stormcast and the Starting Zone and all sorts of different podcasts, especially this week, it's Mick Montgomery. Hello.
Hello, guys. I've decided I don't think I'm going to do jokes anymore. Specifically, I'm not going to do sausage jokes because, as we all know, they're just the worst.
Nope.
Ooh.
No.
And Pat's gone. Look, you killed Pat.
I think that one may
show's over.
That one may have crossed the line even for me.
Show's over. That was the worst.
But at the end of the day, can't stop, won't stop. Hashtag dad jokes. Not going to happen. Hey, guys. Glad to be on CTR to close out the year.
Yes. We have, I think next week will be actually the last show of the year for CTR. As we get into family time and holiday stuff and all that kind of jazz and whatnots. But it's so great to have you guys here. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show, everybody out there. As always, thank you for coming in and watching us talk about stuff. And we're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff this week, especially Alpha, because they updated a bunch of stuff. So let's talk about what we've been up to this week outside of Alpha. Okay? What have we been doing this week, Dairies? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of the Alpha.
Yeah. Outside of the Alpha, though. I don't know if you saw where I was going with that when I said outside of the Alpha. What have you been doing?
I got confused. No, but doing, or rather did another moose run on Sunday.
Yeah.
Got another 35 people or something like that in. We did 4 or 5 runs with 7 people in each or so. So we did quite a bit, but at this point, we've shut off registration.
Yeah.
Because we just have so many people signed up and we're not sure we're going to get to them all in time. We almost hit 500 signups and, with only being able to take 30 or so a week, we wanted to make sure we got everybody. And
because that's going to be like a couple few months as it stands now. So it makes sense to just turn it off and say, you know what? Hey, listen, we have a lot of people right now. We don't know exactly how long this is going to be available for. We want to make sure that everybody gets their moose that signed up. So let's just pause. Just take a little bit of a break over the holidays and try to clean some of this stuff up.
Well, we're still going to do the runs over the holidays. We just want to make sure that we get to people. One of the problems we're noticing is that like number 460 on the list is worried that they're not going to get a spot or that they missed their email or something like that. So we're kind of shutting that down for now so we can start knocking off a lot of this. Then maybe we'll open it up once we get to the end again.
Yeah.
But we just want to make sure that people don't feel like they've been forgotten or anything like that. And we haven't forgotten anybody.
No, they're in the database. So
yeah, they're in there. And luckily the runs are pretty quick. Once we get people in, it's 10 or 15 minutes. Once everybody's in to clear all the trash and then the boss, and then we do it again. So it doesn't take very long, but it's fun. And we're getting a lot of positive feedback on it, which is awesome. So
yeah, you know what?
Yeah, that's been good.
One of the smarter. It's almost like a blessing in disguise to have that kind of thing happening. Oh, good. That's so good.
Oh, now I can hear you. Oh, look at that.
But what I was going to say was it's so hard to find content to do something, in this dearth of we don't have really any new things coming out. So this has actually been a really cool thing to watch unfold for CTR, and hopefully other guilds are taking some cues about maybe this is something they can do as well, hopefully within the structures of what they have going on in their own little communities or bigger communities, because this is a cool thing to get people excited about playing with each other and continuing to maintain that relationship, even though we don't have anything new really to do right now.
Right.
So it's a really cool event.
Right.
Yeah, and there's other groups, I think, within CTR that are still helping people that didn't get to sign up in time for this Moose Run that we were doing. So if you're in CTR, I think, check the forums, that there's a bunch of different signups on there or something.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff going on. So, I mean, just kind of keep your ears open, because there's always, it seems like I want to say there's like 3 or 4 different groups that are doing this type of thing. So maybe not to the extent that Convert to Mythic is doing, but definitely they're doing it every week, and they're trying to get people through, and they're trying to make sure that everybody can get their moose, especially in the CTR guild. And I know that we got emails this week after the signups were shut off saying, "Oh my God, I just leveled up. I boosted my character to 100, got into the CTR guild, and you shut off moose runs. What's going on?" I'm like, no, it's not that. Sorry. Oh man, it's like you just got in at the wrong point. If you would have got in just a few days beforehand, we probably would have got you into the sign up. But even then, you're talking about waiting for a month or more.
Yeah,
most likely more.
Probably more.
So it's really, really tough. And the nice part is that if you've joined CTR, the guild recently, there are a lot of groups going through, and most of them are just giving it away. And so that's really great. Great to see as a part of a community building thing for the CTR guys. So thanks to everybody who's doing that, who's giving back to the community in that way. So there we have it. Anything else other than the moose runs there, Dairies?
In WoW, no, the moose runs have been quite a bit, doing some Valor stuff here and there, but everything else has been outside
cool.
of WoW.
Cool. Tovo, I know that you've been hitting the alpha pretty hard this week, but have you had any time for other stuff?
My Valor is pretty much all of my gear is upgraded that I get, and we haven't been raiding any, so nice. I'm not getting any new gear. So I don't need Valor
you're kind of
anymore.
done. It's nice. That's cool.
I have a little bit banked up, and I still have been doing some LFRs with friends and stuff that rolled new characters.
The other thing that you've been doing, and I know that you and Tadfa have both been trying to get some more time in on Overwatch before it goes down, and we'll be talking about more about that later. So yeah, we've been playing some Overwatch, which is fun.
We have, we've been trying to get scrims together so we could. What happens is he has 2 teams of 6, and then that way he can spectate. And when you spectate, you have the ability to have a free roaming camera, and you can get shots of anything you want. Yeah. So the whole environment, different angles for each fight. So we have a couple ideas for videos on that coming up soon, hopefully. I'm
looking forward to seeing this thing come out, because the spectator mode is pretty awesome. From everything that I hear, I haven't been spectating myself, but everything that I hear, it sounds great. Free roaming camera, come on, it's great. Mick, how about you, man? What's been going on with you?
Well, most of the Warcraft time has been taken up with running alpha stuff.
Sure.
As soon as it came out, so that's been mostly World of Warcraft for me. But been doing a considerable amount of heroes this past week, grinding up a couple of heroes to master skin level and then knocking those out. So I've got about 7 9s on my profile right now, and I'm just trying to get them from 9 to 10. And that 9 to 10 grind is, for those who've done it, is pretty torturous. So I'm just kind of trying to finish those guys off and get them cleared off the deck to make room for some more expansive hero play with some heroes I haven't had a chance to touch yet. So cool. That's primarily what I've been doing.
Cool. Awesome. Well, before the news, I just want to talk to you about a couple of different things. There are always going to be sales, especially in December, for a lot of the different Blizzard games. So make sure to go to those individual websites to check out exactly what is going on for your game of choice. I know that they just announced this week that select pets and mounts, and it's a sizable list of pets and mounts. They're 50% off for the Winter Veil sale right now through the end of the month. So make sure to get in on that. If there's a pet or a mount that you guys really want to get, make sure to do that. Also, along with that, the Bright Paw pet, the purpley kitty thing, Mana Kitty, I guess, that has gone on sale now, and 100% of proceeds go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is huge. That's awesome. I'm so glad that they're just saying, you know what, everything is going to be going to Make-A-Wish. Everything's going to be going to charity. That's awesome. And be looking later this week because we're going to be doing a giveaway on Twitter. We're going to be doing a giveaway on Twitter. So
I got to say, a bunch of with that pet, if you get it or even just see it out in the wild, it's really cool to see.
It's cool
how far the graphics have come in this game. When you look at some of the original pets and critters that are out there, and then the fidelity of Bright Paw. It's a stark contrast. They did a really, really good job with Bright Paw. It's a really cool pet.
Yeah.
The animations, the graphics are just.
Did you get it
really
right away?
For this engine.
Did you get it right away?
I have a deal with Blizzard where when they release something, they just take money from me.
Right. Right.
I assume it's the correct amount. I don't know. They're on the up and up.
And I know that was kind of the big thing over the last week or so was that people were just buying up that Bright Paw pet. But if you don't have it yet, we'll be doing a giveaway later this week via Twitter. So make sure to check it out.
I heard that CTR was doing a giveaway.
That's weird. I heard the same thing.
I heard that rumor.
Well, let's get into the raiding news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening in the news for raiders around the World of Warcraft. And first up, and really the only thing this week for World of Warcraft, is talking about the alpha, because they came out with a new build for the alpha, and they made a lot more things playable. Before it was just the demon. What are you laughing at?
Where did that video come from?
I made it. I made it. A few weeks ago. I don't know. Check out the video.
That's how I imagine Convert to Mythic raids. Exactly like that.
Yes. Just a bunch of old-timey video. Yeah.
Just
old-timey film. Video. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Alpha came out this week with more stuff to play, including more classes, more specs, more stuff, more questing zones. Actually, one questing zone in particular, Highmountain, right? And more stuff. So I just kind of want to go around the room and see what you guys have done, what you've experienced, what you've played, and what you thought of it. So Dairies, let's start with you. Did you play Priest in the alpha?
I did. So I was super excited to play Disc Priest and go through the artifact intro stuff for Disc Priest, only find out that you can't do that in the alpha. So then I did it as Shadow. So I did the intro quests as Shadow, which was a lot of fun. Shadow feels very different now, very different than it is in Warlords, which is a good thing. But there are a couple spells that are missing, some filler spells, things like that make it feel almost like it's missing something. But maybe it's just it'll just take time to get used to it.
So the question for you though, because I know that they have the new resource of Insanity.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you? Does it feel okay? I mean, I know that we're switching away from mana. I mean, I don't know exactly how that works.
So you build up insanity as a Shadow Priest. The more you do damage, the more specific spells you use, the more insanity you build up. And then once you hit 100, you go insane and you start doing a lot more damage, and your cooldowns are removed, and you've got a couple new spells and things like that.
Cool.
The problem, like, you feel really strong when your insanity is up. The problem I have with it is it's unpredictable at times. Like, I'd be out questing or killing mobs, and it would trigger on, I'd come across some single mob, and it would trigger there, and I'd really want it to trigger when I'm coming across a bigger mob or a group of mobs or something like that. And it felt I felt frantic then trying to find another group to kill or a bigger boss or a bigger enemy to kill.
So you're basically saying that you would prefer to have like a button that would like release it.
Yeah, like a trigger for it or something, or some way to make it a little bit more predictable. Because I'm still building insanity. I'm still having to cast spells to kill things that build insanity. It's not like I can hold off on doing damage. That's not really an option. So
right.
It felt a little odd. But again, when you are insane and when that's fully up, you feel really strong, and there's really big focus on like maintaining your insanity and doing this rotation. Like it feels really good when it all comes together.
Well, that's good. That's good. What did you think overall of the artifact quest and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I didn't do any of the others. I just did the Shadow Priest one.
That was the only one that was available. I mean, as far as priest goes.
No, well, I had for any of the other classes, though.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's just the Shadow Priest one. It was very quick. It only took maybe 20 minutes, half hour to do the whole thing. And I didn't realize that when you get to the end and you have to kind of pick where you want to go next on this map. It's kind of the intro quest kind of thing. I'm like clicking all over this thing.
I was doing the same damn thing.
I'm trying to figure out what is broken, and then I'm finally talking to someone else, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't work for anybody." And I'm just like there are signs all over the alpha right now that say like, "Hey, this is broken," or "Don't go here because this doesn't work," or "It's not finished yet," and there's nothing for this.
Right. I like the little construction things that they put up every once in a while and it says more is coming here and blah blah blah.
There's nothing for this. I stood there for a good 20 minutes trying to figure out what I had done wrong, where I had missed. I dropped the quest. I picked it back up. I relogged. I did everything I could.
Yeah,
I felt like a fool.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where everything kind of just disappears for everybody. So so it's okay. You're part of the crowd. It's fine. It's totally cool. And Mick, how about you? What zones did you do?
I went specifically to, I queued in and made a level 100 paladin like right away. It was like, boom, this is what I'm going to do. And when you fire up the alpha, you're dropped right into Dalaran, and you kind of kick off on your artifact quest to go test that out. Uh-huh. So for me, I went after Ashbringer because why wouldn't I? Right. And it was, I'm not going to spoil anything as it relates to the quest line and what happens. It's very well done, in my opinion. I thought it was a really good little story that was told to get my artifact weapon. So I really, really enjoyed it. I've actually felt pretty moved doing it. I felt more moved in this alpha build of my artifact weapon opening quest than any point in Warlords of Draenor.
Wow.
And probably any point in Mists of Pandaria.
Wow.
So I'm a big lore guy. I'm a big story guy as well as a gameplay guy. And so for me, I was like, this is pretty amazing. Like this is tugging on all the right heartstrings for me. And then, of course, being able to go to Light's Hope Chapel, which is, the class order hall for paladins, and to kind of finish off what you do after you get your artifact weapon to get that going. And then, to get to see the UI for the artifact weapon up close and personal and how the talents get assigned and all that stuff and begin to play with that. And then I just spent some time, kind of tooling around the class order hall. And I don't know if, Darius, you had the same experience for Priest, but for me, having played a Paladin for as long as I've played them, to look around the chapel and to really feel like, this is home. Like this is where I should have always been able to go to as a Paladin. I should have always had this place to be able to kind of call home as a character. And so for me, it was a really well done experience. And yes, there are barricades up, and yes, there are things saying this is not finished. But even the little bit that I got, I was sold 100% on this particular character. So I'm really interested to go through the rest of the available classes and specs as they come out and just see if that experience is the same across the board for either specs I haven't even tried yet or classes I haven't tried, or some of the classes that I also have max level tunes on. I'm interested to see how that all kind of feels. Tovo, I don't know. I know you played a couple of them. I don't know if you felt that they had the same level of epicness, but for me, I was really impressed.
Well, and Tovo, you've done like a bunch of different specs. You've done what, 7 classes?
Yeah, I wanted to do more. I'm going to do more tonight, but so far I did Red Pally, Fury Warrior, Survival Hunter, Fire Mage, Demon Hunter, Frost DK, and Balance Druid. Out of all of them, I agree with Mick. Red Pally was amazing. I'm not a lore guy, and yet it was still amazing. Like, I felt the emotions that he's talking about. For that one in particular, the Fury Warrior is insane. You feel like you're Thor, basically. You're awesome. An Asgardian, pretty much. Yeah. Awesome. Whenever you teleport away from the warrior class hall, the NPC asks you if you want to go to Dalaran, for example. It says, I'd like to crash in on Dalaran. And whenever you click that, you fly down into the portal, and then you come out of the sky like a rocket, and then you land in Dalaran, and all the ground crumbles, and wow. you sort of stand up from your from your knee. So you're basically Thor.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so it's
That's awesome.
Great.
Well, and the other one that I was kind of taken by, and I did kind of this brief overall thing where I was playing. I played a Survival Hunter for a while, and then I looked at all the other classes that were available, and I kind of tried to figure out where they started their questing at. Because everybody, when you first log in, it doesn't matter what you play. You log into Dalaran, and then from there you find your quest giver, wherever that may be, and most likely it's right there, right as you kind of log in. And then from there you have to find where you belong. And so I tried to find a couple of places, couldn't find some things. I wasn't looking on Wowhead or anything like that. But then I got to the DK. And the DK, and again, I don't want to spoil it for people because I think it's really awesome. You get in there and you start your quest. And the place you start your quest, you're like going, wow, this is epic. This is amazing. This is so super cool. And it just brings back those... It fires up all those old feelings that I had playing WoW for the first time, raiding for the first time, all that kind of stuff for me. And it's just amazing stuff. Did you find the same thing for other classes? I mean, you talked about Warrior and Paladin, now DK. I've talked about that, but anything else?
I had a little trouble with the Balance Druid. There's a place about halfway through your artifact quest where supposedly a lot of the classes sort of share that area. And so the crashing was happening over and over again. So I ended up not finishing Balance Druid the whole way. The Fire Mage, the Demon Hunter, Survival Hunter. One thing that these beginning quests seem to really emphasize is if you have anything new to your class fantasy or spec rotation, any new abilities, they sort of highlight them. And if you don't have anything new, like for example, like a Frost DK, they require you to use the ones you currently have. So like there's like a little mini game in the Frost DK one. I'm not going to give away where or whatever, but you have to sort of grip a stone guardian onto a little platform to open up a new area.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you struggling with that because you're like going, what am I supposed? Oh wait, am I supposed to do this?
Does it want to put that? Wow! Wait, what? I just didn't give it credit. I was like, there's no way he wants me to do that.
Right. Right. I'm just fighting stuff, right? That's all I have to do, right?
Yeah. No, I'm collecting or killing. Like, what is? I don't think it's different abilities. And like Fire Mage, for example, there's like a magical barrier, and it's like you need to use your skills to get past this barrier. And it's like, can I blink through barriers now? Like, I can blink, and so it does all those things really well. And for the Survival Hunter, since everything's basically new, throughout each of the little sections of the quest, it's basically. It's not necessarily using what your new skills are, but it's highlighting and giving you a feel of what you're going to be doing. So you have to set a trap for this beast that you're chasing, and traps are going to be a huge part of what you're going to be doing in the Survival Hunter rotation. You have to use your harpoon to get across the marsh that you're in with these NPCs.
Which is super cool.
which is amazing. The harpoon's great. There's a little bit of the little lag on the animation and stuff, but I think that's built in. I don't think that's part of the. I don't think that's a problem.
It's like you have to cock your arm back.
Yeah,
and,
you have to.
And throw it. And so it's just so you have to bring it back, and so it's kind of one of those things where I don't know
exactly. There has to be. It can't be just instant like a charge, I guess.
Right.
But it's basically a charge, but way cooler. And then the last part, you get a bleed on you. The beast puts a bleed on you, so you can't heal over a certain percentage, but you're sort of like bleeding as you're chasing him into his cave while he's bleeding from you. And so you're also going to be using bleeds in your rotation.
Oh, yeah.
So it just adds all of that flavor and just packs it into this one quest, which I thought all of them were really short, but it was mostly because I was having a lot of fun with them, I think, and I wanted more of it. But it's also an MMO. You're going to be with your friends.
Sure.
You're all going to be you're all going to be standing in front of the map like Dairies for 20 minutes wondering
what the heck is going on, man? Why can't I click anything on the damn map?
It doesn't feel like there's anything to click.
Well, it's so funny because
I clicked everything on that map.
I know I did too, and it was one of those things, and then I realized, oh no, this is the stopping point for every single spec that's on the on the alpha right now. And and as long as we're kind of talking about Tovo, I kind of want to talk about survival a little bit, because that's another one of those specs that changed completely from Warlords, and it's so we have all the melee stuff. How did it play for you? Just kind of generally talking about play style, how did it play for you? Did you understand it right away, and did you have fun with it? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a melee guy traditionally. I've been ranged hunter or mage or whatever for a long time.
Sure.
It's very melee-y. It's not like hybrid. It's not like you might expect, or like rogues might expect with their outlaw abilities, with the guns and stuff. It's very, very melee. It didn't feel hard to grasp. There was, if you just read through the few abilities that you're going to be using, there's like a flanking strike, which is your big dump, which is you and your pet both strike together.
Yes.
Which, that felt really cool to sort of use your pet. Because if you didn't have any of those abilities, your pet would seem kind of like, why is it there? I don't need it there in terms of like abilities that you're going to be using. So having that there with you, it takes aggro off for you whenever you use that strike.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful.
But if you use it when you don't have aggro, you get aggro. That's what I find is like it switches aggro.
Because it's so powerful.
It's so weird though, because it's like as a hunter, you are supposed to always be balancing aggro. I mean, that's kind of how I grew up on Hunter during the Wrath days, right? Was hey, your job is to manage aggro. You are always going to be misdirecting to the tank. You are always going to be doing this. You are always going to be doing that. With Survival Hunter, you don't have any of those tools. So
it's still, it's
weird.
I mean, you still have the feign death, and so you still have the basic things that you can use. But it wasn't hard. It felt intuitive. It wasn't. So for anybody who's just starting out, you basically get these stacks of Mongoose Bite, and then some of your other AoE skills are going to be stronger based on how many of those stacks you have. And then your passives will allow more of those stacks to be gained, whether it's RNG or, percentage of your abilities that you have.
Sure.
But yeah, so there'd be mobs that ran away and you're harpooning them back, getting right back to them. Your pet's chasing, you're flanking them from each side. You're making everything bleed and trapping them. But the one ability that was interesting I wanted to try out was it's a sentry turret.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the talents, right? It
basically looks just like the ones in is it Ubers, that the 5-man where you can the NPCs engineer the turrets to attack you. Where you first walk in. Yeah. It basically looks just like that. And it's a 1-minute cooldown. The problem is in the alpha, I guess it only does like 100 damage a shot or something. So no one was using it, but it looks amazing. It's so cool.
Alpha is alpha.
Alpha's alpha.
Alpha is alpha, and it was kind of broken a lot of the time, and so there were some other things that I did. So one of the other things that I did was, other than mess around with some of the different classes and kind of take a look at some of the abilities and the talents and whatnot, was there was a spot in Highmountain that was open. And actually, I think that all of Highmountain is an open quest area.
That sort of took away some of my attention from the other classes, is because I was taking my survival hunter into Highmountain,
and it's pretty cool.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be. I mean, obviously you can, but
right.
I was. Some people have gotten up to like 105 or something.
What
level?
People are already min-maxing the alpha.
Yeah, basically, just from the content that's available. So one thing I was noticing though was from every mob, you have a chance to get artifact power.
Yeah,
and it's ranging in difficulty or ranging in rarity based on just how lucky you get. But we were getting like 1,000 artifact power just by killing rares and doing quests and killing just random elites that you'd find for the quests and stuff. But
it was cool.
What 1,000 though? What is that? Well, like how many do you need to?
So I think it's like 100. It starts out at least 100 per skill, but you also get other items that. So, for example, you can get 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3 of that one particular trait or whatever it's called for the artifact power ability, and then you'll get another item, for example, that'll make it so you can get 6 charges of that, and those are separate from the artifact power items that you get just randomly throughout the world. So, how much artifact power you're going to need, I don't really know, and I don't know if they're going to change how quickly you get it.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're gaining it pretty quickly just from playing it a little bit in Highmountain.
And the thing about artifact power too was that as I was kind of doing this questing, I checked back today and there were 3 different items in my bag that all seemed to do the same thing. And I was like, okay, guys, I know that we're taking back bag space with transmog with the new transmog system. But that doesn't mean that you get to automatically take it up with 3 of the same damn things for your artifact weapon. Does it? I mean,
yes.
You're just taking back the bag space. So,
in the chat room, MX Troll's saying that so whenever the first if you get a 1 out of 3 upgrade, that costs 100. The next one costs incrincringly more depending on how.
Oh, it's just like it's just like XP. I mean, as far as like going through the different levels and stuff like that. Now, Mick, did you happen to stumble upon any other areas, or were you just concerned with kind of the artifact areas for paladins and other
that was
classes?
That was about all the time I had for this week.
Gotcha.
Was to get through that stuff, but did kind of just. The thing is, though, I spent a considerable amount of time just looking at the modeling within the areas that I was in,
sure,
as well as doing the gameplay stuff,
sure.
Because that's the part that and. To kind of go back a little bit to what Dairies was saying with the fidelity on the new Mana Kitty pet, that is kind of everywhere now. I mean, the game looks really, really great at this point, and I think that's really impressive. There's obviously some of the older models are still kind of there and around and placeholders and stuff, but Dalaran looks really, really great. This new version of it, and so I think that from a look and designs standpoint, things are really right there. Like you can see the touches of the fell invasion, hitting Dalaran, which was kind of interesting and neat. Kind of gives you an idea that, we're under siege, which is a cool thing. So, that's kind of, I think, so far, so good.
Yeah.
Is kind of where I'm at. So far, everything that I've seen. And granted, you're right. We've all had the experience of things are just broken or things are just not there. And that's part of being in the alpha. But the core of what you're experiencing seems to be right on at this point. And I think the part that made sense to me was you can see that Blizzard kind of learned a lot from the Garrison experiment in Warlords in that it was like, hey, it's a cool idea to have a place that's your own.
I like the Garrison experiment. I think that's so great.
You could see what they learned from that. And then with the class hall, you could see where they're like, this is all the things that we got wrong with Garrison that we've kind of figured out how to fix. And so I think that is a good, it's a good sign that the expansion's got some things that seem to be working. Because like a lot of folks, I tested Warlords too and went, some of the stuff doesn't feel finished or right yet, but I'm going to trust Blizzard. Whereas this, you could see that the core seed idea of what's behind what's being developed is pretty neat, and it's pretty interesting. And I think so far, like I said, it's just it's touching all the right buttons for me.
Well, and if you take a look, as long as we're talking about graphics a little bit, I kind of want to touch on the different dungeons that are out that have been shown in the alpha right now. One of them is Halls of Valor, and the other one is Blackrock Hold. And I know that Fat Boss and others have done walkthroughs of these dungeons and kind of giving people a look at them, and especially in Blackrock Hold. My lord. The graphics are amazing in this. I mean, even in the shadowy darkness that is the basement of this place, you are given kind of this graphic wonder world of I don't know what. I mean, it just seemed really, really like way cooler than any other place, any other dungeon that I've seen before. Mm-hmm. So Blizz, good job on that stuff.
And Halls of Valor has that same feel,
right.
What I liked about Halls of Valor was the epic feel of the look of it. And I was doing a time walking event a couple of weeks ago when the RAS stuff was up, and went into Halls of Lightning, I think. And I remember thinking, my gosh, how big is this dungeon? It's huge. When you look at the scope of it as a person within it, as a player within it. And the Halls of Valor has that same immense, huge feel to it, and that kind of sense of, we're in this really old place that's, was populated by immortals, and we're just mortals kind of trudging through it, trying to figure out how to win this day. And they've really made these dungeons look and feel a lot bigger, and some of the mechanics even seem a smidge more challenging than we've seen, I think, out of dungeon stuff in the past. So, that was one of the dungeons that I thought, oh man, I hope that's as cool as I hope it is, given where it is at within the map at Stormheim. So, but it seems to be pretty cool at this point for me.
Yeah. Darius, did you happen to check these dungeons out at all? And what are your thoughts?
I've just seen the Fat Boss videos on them.
Sure.
There's ones for both now, and they're gorgeous. I can't wait to get in there, and they see them and experience them and do them over and over and over and over and over again
at different difficulties. Remember, because we're gonna be doing all of these dungeons ad nauseum, kind of. But at the same time, they're gonna be new challenging dungeons, because they're gonna be adding new things as we get into challenge modes, essentially. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see how they work that part as well. But the environments are crazy awesome. I dig them. I totally dig them. Mm-hmm. Now, what else alpha can we talk about? Anything? So I want to talk about the event, the pre-patch event a little bit. But anything before then that we should talk about, whether it's class halls or classes or specs or how things played. Tovo, I know that you've done the most, so maybe we should swing it back to you real quick. Was there any surprises from you as far as what was in the alpha right now?
Lots of surprises, but a lot of them are spoilery. So,
we do have a wonderful spoiler alert that I was talking about before the show, and it goes a little something like this. All right, that's the spoiler alert, and then I also have a sign for the video, so that as long as we're doing spoiler alerts, we can have a sign for the video so that people can kind of move through and not get too mad at us. So any big spoilers that you want to let loose right now? Now's the time. Signs up.
I think it would be only proper for Mick to talk about the one spoiler that I was the main one. I don't know.
Oh man, I don't know.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
I just feel like it's. I mean, it's Pat's call. Pat wants to judge for it. I feel like
if it's a huge lore thing,
it is a huge.
Let's maybe just kind of pass it over. But was there anything else, spoiler-ish, maybe that doesn't like bust up serious lore? Because I don't want to. Even that is kind of like, I don't know.
It's going to be really hard, I think, to talk about, because all the stuff that's going to happen is going to be so specific to the fates of very key characters.
Right.
Clearly, that's what I took away from the Rhett Pally starting line for the artifact weapon, is that Blizzard's not afraid to take big swings right now with what they're doing with some of these characters.
Right.
And I think it's going to be it's going to be really disruptive for a lot of people, and not in a bad way, ultimately in a good way. Mm-hmm. But people are going to have feels about some of the stuff that's going down in this expansion for sure. And I think it's almost as if Blizzard's like, and as I've said time and time again, I really feel like Blizzard walked in with both of their 6 shooters and said, I'm emptying all of the bullets out of this gun for this expansion. And they seem to be doing the same thing when it comes to some of these key characters that have been around for a long time and how they're going to fundamentally change them. And to me, I don't want to talk about what happens for that quest line because I still think that it would be cool for some players to have the experience of experiencing it for the first time without knowing what's going to happen, right. So to speak, given how I think important it is and how probably anticipated it is, especially for Paladins.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I kind of know what's going on in that realm, and there has been lots of stuff on Reddit and everywhere else about some of the futures of some of the different characters and whatnot in the game.
What I can say is that the way that the Legion is being handled and approached is really, it's all the right ways to build villains, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I felt that one of our key problems with Warlords was it's like you never really knew what you were doing, right? We all were like, why are we still here?
It was, well, the way that they introduced the villains in Warlords was, hey, here are the villains, and then they introduced them one at a time in this opening quest, and it was kind of fun. But at the same time,
you'll kill them all before you even get to your garrison.
But at the same time, you never got angry at them. It's like they went, here they are. Here's your cast of villains right here. All of the warlords of Draenor. So it was, I don't know. It was just kind of cheeseball.
Yeah, it was. And I think the difference between, what I've seen in Legion is you don't, there's never a sense that you're going to win this. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like you've won the quest line, you down the guy, and because this is the part that sucks with the Legion as a whole, is they really, at the end of the day, they can't be killed. They just go back to the Twisting Nether and then can be reincarnated and come back if they want to. So it's all dependent on whether or not Sargeras is pissed at them and wants to keep them on the bench or send them back out on the field again. So you never get a sense that you're making the headway that you want to. What basically happens in the Paladin quest line is you kind of come up against the boss, and right when you're about to kill the boss, he's like, we'll save this for later. You and I have a lot more time to spend together. And you're like, damn it, There's the way that they're trying to choose to build these guys up is to give us, I think, a storyline that's going to, continue to trudge along, that's individualistic to us and our particular specs, and that's a good thing.
It's kind of cool. I'm kind of digging it myself. And
then on top of that, you'll have all that stuff that you're going to do in the zones too. So you're going to have those quest lines too, but then you're going to have the story that feels unique to your particular hero and what you're doing within this particular battle and how you affect and change it and how your journey is a bit unique. And what I'm seeing so far is indicating that component that I think a lot of players felt like, well, what do I do now that I'm at endgame besides raid and do PvP? It feels like they're giving you something that feels like, okay, I've got something else interesting to do.
Well, at least it could be. It could be that way. And we don't know. Obviously, I mean, this is still so new and still so changeable and still, very, very early in its development stage that I think that if we're to say this is the way it's going to be, it's not going to be that way just because it's so early. But it does give you a good feel for each class and kind of how they're building things, and it does kind of give me hope as far as that there will be playable content no matter what's going on. Yeah. So that's pretty sweet.
But I think the replayability there will also be there though, right? So when you go to level your next alt after you've kind of felt like, okay, I'm done with this main and I'm going to go to another thing, just listening to Tovo, I'm like, it feels like the rest of them have a uniqueness and are different in their own ways. So you're not going to feel like you're just kind of doing this repetitive thing over and over and over again.
Right. And the other nice thing is that you can go anywhere after, when you're questing through the world, you can go to any zone and you can fight in any order that you wish. So then that's kind of one of those things when Dairies went up to the map and it was broken and he couldn't touch anything and he couldn't say where he wanted to go next. The point is that when we get to that point, you'll be able to say, I want to go anywhere, and you'll be able to go anywhere and fight mobs that are appropriate for you.
Right.
And I started to do that in Highmountain, and it felt really nice. It just felt normal. There was no, you weren't fighting these big, I mean, as long as you're not fighting elites or whatever, I mean, you don't have to worry about it so much. You just go in and you go, you know, smack the crap out of some mobs and get some loots and, you know, get some XP, all that kind of good stuff.
And also the fact, too, that the professions are seeming to key in to get you to go out there and go to all the zones and get out there and explore a bit more, too. And providing the proper motivation to do that, and that professions are going to kind of feel like they matter again. That, too, is going to continue to get you this experience of being out there in the right way, as opposed to hang out, you know, farm my garden, go mind my mind, and, you know, all the things that all the well-documented bummers
and go down to my shipyard.
Yeah, and watch boats sail away.
Go run some missions.
Go on the boats ever. Just watch them sail away, and then never come back. So yeah, that those things have. It's kind of the way why WoW was great in the first place, you know, and it's kind of a little bit of circling back to that and then accentuating that one more time, given the lessons that they've learned.
It does feel very, very, very familiar in a lot of ways. I mean, it harkens back to BC and Wrath and really tries to pull on those heartstrings while building something new off of it. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. That's really cool. All right, should we go into the Legion event, the pre-event or supposed pre-event that we kind of know a little bit about, very little right now? It appears that. Oh wait, maybe I should put up the spoiler alert.
Yeah, probably spoilers.
We should do a spoiler alert, and I'll do the long spoiler alert. Yeah. So this is a spoiler alert. If you want to know anything about the Legion, the pre-expansion stuff, this is the place for it. Here's what we know so far: is that the Legion is actually going to be invading Azeroth. Gasp. Did anybody not see that coming?
No.
But I was
a little confused. The trailer wasn't super clear. But when I read the MMO Champion post, I was like, I put it all, it's all coming together in my head.
2 + 2 = something. So the Legion is going to be going around in a bunch of different zones around Azeroth. Right now, it looks like it's Daenerys, Hillsbrad, and the Wetlands. And I went around some of these places, and it's kind of cool, actually. You got the big, what are those big ships called, or the house? I don't know what they're called. The like, I don't know, structures for the Legion. They come down, and then there's a bunch of demons all around. Demons are invading everything. That's all. That's really it. Demons everywhere, all over the Wetlands for sure. I definitely check that stuff out.
Bunch of wet demons.
Yes.
Oh, it's just gonna be a bunch of moist demons.
You know, they have different demon powers depending on how moist they are. Not really.
It's gross.
Here's your curse of Soggy.
It's the Soggy Bottom demons.
Yeah. The Soggy Bottom demons. They also do a really nice bluegrass number.
They do. They do. And I didn't see it. I didn't see any. I saw 0 quests for this stuff. Did anybody see any quests for the Legion stuff, for the pre-launch stuff? Anything? Because I saw nothing.
No.
It was just go down, kill mobs, and hope you don't die, especially when you pull multiple. So that's what I did.
I think this is just one of those things that's in there, but they're working on separately. Like this, you know, it just happens to be in there because that's where it was when they put this build together. But I think a lot of the stuff we're pulling out is just kind of, or MMO Champion or whoever is pulling out is just kind of, hey, we think this is related. So
sure,
it could be totally different. You know, we could end up fighting pandas again. For all we know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Pretty sure. That's
one of the things that I found that was kind of cool was that I went down to Booty Bay because, you know, you got to go down to Booty Bay every once in a while. And I saw that there were a bunch of pirates, level 110-ish pirates, floating in the air in the shape of a pirate ship in Booty Bay. Just so you know. I went down there to try to grab the ship to go check out Daenerys, and the boat never came. So I'm like going, okay, well, what's going on in Booty Bay? And there were pirates floating in the air in the shape of a ship. So I don't know what's going on there, but that sounds cool. I'm all for it. Anything else as far as the Legion invasion event? This is supposed invasion event that you guys want to touch upon?
I didn't actually get in and see any of this stuff in the world, but just from looking at all this stuff and all the pictures and all the different areas it's going to be spread to, it looks like it's going to be massive. Like they said, they're not going to miss in terms of the size and scope of it,
right?
Like they did in a couple other pre-expansion events. But yeah, I'm really excited. There's going to be tons of stuff to do, hopefully, because we need it. I
think they're trying to stay away from like the normal questing zones. Because, I mean, in where was it? Hillsbrad, it's on that far east side of Hillsbrad, like where you don't really go all that often when you're leveling up, because most likely if you're leveling, you get out of there pretty quickly. And the wetlands, it's all over the wetlands. But I don't...
No one ever goes to the wetlands,
well,
ever.
As Alliance, I mean, you don't really go there very often, do you? I don't think so.
No.
And Daenerys, I don't know where it is there. I didn't actually get over there to go see it because the boat didn't come. So,
well, that's sad.
That was sad for me.
That was sad.
That was sad for me.
But I think it's better that it's spread around because I think folks say, as Tovo was saying, but people always kind of harken back to, even though there was some not so great things about the Wrath expansion event, the fact that it felt like the Scourge was coming to Azeroth as a whole. Is what this kind of needs to mimic, because the event for Warlords was just kind of there in the Blasted Lands, and that was pretty much the impact site. And this will start to affect and do what it should, which is to remind you that this is coming as a player, that this new story is coming your way, no matter where you're at in the world. And so hopefully it kind of keys into that. And it looks like there's going to be some chests involved based on quest holders. So who knows? Maybe that's some more catch-up gear opportunities for some players. That might come their way.
Well, what's in there right now is garbage.
Right.
That's all I know.
Timeless Isle stuff. So I mean,
it was great to get level 484 gear. Perfect. That's exactly what I need.
More of this.
Exactly. All right. Let's not talk about that anymore. So I'll take away the spoiler alert for now.
Spoilers.
Yeah, there will be spoilers in this show, though. And Tovo, you've got to be happy about this one, because there's more proof that this is the Diablo expansion for World of Warcraft.
Diablo 4 confirmed. Legion.
Diablo 4 MMO Legion. Yes, confirmed. What's going on? What else was found in the... So
I guess there's going to be treasure demons in the world randomly. I don't know where they're going to be or how it's going to work, but they're channeling a portal to get away, just like in Diablo, and then you have to kill them, and they drop a sanctuary coin or sanctuary coins, depending how many. I don't know what they give and what you buy with them, but it's a reference to the place in Diablo, and this is basically Diablo 4. So.
Diablo
sanctuary coins.
Sanctuary coins.
What is the name of the Diablo world?
Exactly.
That's odd.
It is odd.
I really wish Blizzard would just stop borrowing from its other IPs.
From their other amazing games.
Look at what happened to Heroes. They've ruined Heroes when they put all the other heroes in it.
When they put Cho'Gall in, it ruined it. Oh.
Man,
made it so much more fun and stuff. Oh.
I joke, but there were a lot of people genuinely angry when they saw this, saying that, this is the Diablo expansion, or just like angry that Blizzard would put Diablo characters in WoW. I mean, I don't know why people get so upset.
Mick, what's your take on this? Are you cool with it? I don't know.
It's a gimmick. I think that the problem is right now, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm excited about it. But I'm not going to say that, like, this is the sign that the devil is coming out of Blizzard. and they've come to eat our souls and cut off our heads. You know,
right.
We're not going to go that far.
Just say WoW's dead. Made Diablo
exactly.
live forever.
The reality is that, you know, Diablo, a fun part of it is the treasure goblin.
Right.
Of course, in Heroes of the Storm, for the whole summer, we saw the treasure goblin running around when you were kind of booting up. I'm sure in Overwatch, there's going to be some level of a treasure goblin that you can shoot for bonus something or other.
Sure.
This is a Blizzard gimmick. They put this stuff in their game. It's the same as when they give you some pet at BlizzCon that's a cross between another one of their. It's like the Murky Marine. You know, that pet is a nod and an homage to another game in their universe. This is a part of Blizzard culture. This is what they do. If you're going to get upset about it and say, I don't like chocolate mixing in with my broccoli soup, then, you know,
I wouldn't like that either. Just
go play EA games then. You know, I mean, I have no pity for somebody who's going to waste their emotional energy on bitching about the fact that treasure demon goblins are going to be happening in World of Warcraft. I'm sorry. Just seriously, go get a life.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a very small part of the game.
Relax.
Yeah, it's a very small part, and don't worry about it. I'm sure that it all makes sense when it comes out in its fully developed state.
So we're not in the spoiler section anymore, so I'm not going to say exactly who it is, but there's a quest in Highmountain where a Heroes of the Storm character comes into play.
What?
And you get to be that character in the quest.
Wait.
Is it Thrall?
Did I see it? I don't think I saw it. Was this part of the best quest ever?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So Tatva and Tovo over at Line of Sight Gaming is the video out yet?
It's almost done. We're going to release it probably tonight.
Okay, so there's going to be a video out from Line of Sight Gaming. And it is going to be entitled "The Best Quest Ever," right? For the alpha, maybe
it's a working title.
Sure. But if you guys are interested in this, here comes the hype train. Make sure to go to youtube.com/ what is it? Tovo. I almost called you Tatvo.
Line of Sight Gaming Show, I think, is our YouTube. I don't know. Just type in Line of Sight. You'll find it.
You'll find it.
I don't even know.
You have to change your Google language to Spanish and then search for gaming. It'll probably come up.
Right. But if you want
it is LOS Gaming Show.
LOS Gaming Show.
I was right. I just wasn't sure.
Mick got it right. Tovo, you just have to pimp your own stuff. Come on.
I think I got it right, but I didn't want to send people the
Let's
wrong
have a conversation about your branding. Oh my God.
Right. Exactly. But so that's going to be a video that's going to be popping up later. So anybody that is interested can go check it out over at.
So people can get angry that they're also incorporating Heroes of the Storm into WoW. So.
Right. What? And why not? I mean, why not?
It's like saying that they can't do Jaina stories anymore in this game because she's in Heroes of the Storm.
Exactly.
Heroes of the Storm is a blender of all the.
Well, and why not make Blizzard games just kind of a blender of everything? I mean, It's very clear to me, and I don't want to go too far off topic, but it's very clear to me that what Blizzard is now starting to do. Yeah. And I don't know if it's clear to everybody else, but we all know about the fact that there's an Activision entertainment studio now that's making projects that are not game based, that are all for television and streaming and that kind of stuff. That are going to start with, Call of Duty, and they're going to work their way through Skylanders, and then eventually they're going to land on a Blizzard project. So what I think Blizzard is beginning to be okay with is the idea that they've created these three universes that belong to them, and now a fourth with the Overwatch universe, and they're going to bleed into one another, and that's going to be a part of how they begin to tell stories, not just within the games, but they're going to be doing that as well outside of the games. Yeah. I would never be surprised if we saw at one point a Heroes of the Storm animated series that popped up on Netflix that was the adventures of, Sonya trying to track down Asmodan, and she has to pair up with Nova to go kill this demon before he steals the thing that ultimately is trying to get back to art. That's going to happen. It's going to happen because this is the universe that they're going to continue to play and tell stories in. So that's what's going to happen. So if these games begin to pop up within each other, it makes sense that in a world of mysticism and sci-fi fantasy and all this stuff, you would be able to pierce dimensions and go into other worlds, or those would be able to pierce and come into the world that you know. That's a part of storytelling that these type of companies just do, and it's going to happen. And it's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, if you like let's say the Avengers stuff, I mean, how can you not kind of dig, seeing other characters pop into your favorite game, no matter what it is, your favorite Blizzard game, especially. So, I think it's really, really super cool. So there. All right. One more thing before questions. And this is huge. Well, not really huge. But if you play a human, you might be interested in this, especially if you're down with the PvP.
You're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. Who's down with PvP?
Yeah, so in the next version of the Legion Alpha, they are actually going to be toying with the human racial every man for himself to only remove stun effects. And that's because they've done all these other different things with the PvP talents, so that every man for himself, the way it is right now in Warlords, just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Dairies, I know that you're big into PvP.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts here? You love the PvP.
Sure. Yeah, this is good. This is a good change for the PvPing.
Oh, okay.
I think, or maybe it's a bad change. It's certainly a change, and It will affect gameplay in some way.
In some way.
So the problem was he was just overpowered, right? Their current racial, because they could use a second damage trinket. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the way that it is right now is that it would actually trigger the trinket. Is that right? I can't remember. But either way, it's going away, and now it's just going to be stun effects, which is still valuable. So, I don't know. I don't really have much on that. I just wanted to
I will be so glad when they finally figure out a way to kill this complaint, and so that the PvP community can move on from every man for himself.
And I think that they really have with the way that they've built up PvP talents for Legion. That very first row, that very first selection is basically every man for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
And this has been the complaint all through Warlords, and it's not doing the game any good, or at least that part of the game any good. So they've got to fix it, and hopefully this works, or at least puts them on the path towards really finally resolving this. Because I for one, as a player and a person who does shows about Warcraft, am tired of hearing people complain about this. Because it's there's no one that likes it except for people who are using it and just playing humans, and this turned the game into something it wasn't intended to be, which was you can only be this race to be successful, or and this has created a problem that they've just got to fix.
Yep. So I think they fixed it, and I hope that they fix all of the different little picadillos that PvP has gone through over the last couple of expansions, and I really hope that they figure out exactly how to balance all these things and to make it work for the people that are the core of the PvP community. That's the goal, and I think that they're doing it. It looks like they're doing it. It just kind of depends on the development cycle, so to speak. All right, let's go to a question, and then we've got some Battlenet news, and then we'll get the heck out of here. So let's go to a question.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us about raiding or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can always tweet us at converttoraid, or you can call our raid line at 612-787-RAID. And the first question is from Hexabel. And she says, I'm jumping down here. She says, there are significantly less orcs in Legion thus far. Is it refreshing for you guys to see a new theme finally? Dairies, thoughts?
This is irrefutable proof that Blizzard loves the Alliance and not the Horde. So
wait, so what was Warlords then?
They also love the Alliance, but they showed it by only showing Horde characters.
They overcompensated.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Tovo, you've seen a lot of the Alpha world so far. What are your thoughts on the theme? Are you digging it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have that in mind, but now that you bring it up, yeah, Warlords was all orcs all the time, and yeah, no, I don't really have much of an opinion on it other than whatever they want to do. There's no shortage of demons now, so we can start complaining about
so
that.
So now we're gonna get sick of demons.
Yeah, I don't know. What else can we complain about? I saw there's
more demons.
There's a treasure goblin. I'm not too happy about.
Treasure goblin demon.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mick, any thoughts on the new theme? Are you digging this? Are you?
Yes, of course I'm digging this. Okay. Yes, it's great. It's different. It looks different. It feels different. It feels like we're being invaded by an army, that's actually going to happen versus the invasion that we stopped in the first 12 seconds of the game that we had in the last.
Here are your enemies.
Exactly. Yeah, you beat them. Congrats. But you're going to hang around for a while.
Exactly.
So this one, I mean, I think this is a better theme. It's an old theme, but it's been revamped enough to make it feel new and fresh again. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about having a new thing. That's the best part of expansions is getting a new enemy to fight.
Yeah, I really do dig it, and it's such a refreshing change from Siege of Orgrimmar to Warlords to now. It's definitely a good thing. All right, let's get into some Battlenet news and get out. Here we go. It's the Battlenet news, where we take a look at the big headlines from around the rest of the Blizzard universe. And first up, let's talk a little bit about Overwatch. Blizzard has ruined Christmas. They have ruined the entire holiday season because they have said that starting tomorrow, December 10th, that they're just taking it down. They're taking it down for at least a month, maybe more, and no more Overwatch for anyone while they do some fix-em-ups.
Everyone gets a big lump of coal.
Dairies?
Thanks, Blizzard.
Right. Dairies, how much Overwatch have you been playing over the last whatever?
What's like one less than infinity? That's pretty much it. I've played a lot of Overwatch.
Right.
I really like that game. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I play a lot.
Are you going to go through withdrawals now?
I'm probably just going to sleep. I mean, it seems like a really good time to hibernate. Like the holidays, the cold, all that kind of stuff. If I could just get to January, that should be okay.
Right.
That's a bummer because I set aside a lot of time this weekend to play Overwatch with Dairies, and now I'm not going to be able to.
Such a jerk.
That's a callback, ladies and gentlemen.
That is a callback. That's nice. That was a good one. I like that one. That was very nice.
I've even playing a lot more lately. Like if I've got 20 minutes, I'll even just jump in, even if I can only play half a side, because I'm like, oh, it's going to be gone soon. Like I got to get it in.
Yeah, because they mentioned from the data that they gathered from the beta so far that the average game was like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
super quick
stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Super quick, and this weekend I was jumping in and it seemed like people still didn't really kind of understand what was going on, and so you'd have these big standoffs where people just weren't going into the areas, and you're like going, come on, let's go, people, and then you realize that your mic isn't on, so they're not hearing you.
Yeah.
So oh well. But yeah, I'm gonna miss it, and now everybody's gonna be salty about Overwatch. So we'll all have something in common for a while. Yep.
Is it I don't know. Does anyone else feel a little worried?
About what?
Because, Blizzard usually puts out a beta and they'll take it down for maybe a weekend to do some maintenance and pull out another patch. They don't usually put it out and then take it down for months.
Well,
this is very much alpha. This is one map, or not one map, couple maps, one game mode, no progression, all this kind of stuff.
But you're looking at a release date that's in April, May.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like Heroes, which it was in for alpha for over a year, almost a year and a half.
Right. I think
this feels really weird to me. I think I'm the only one that's like, this seems strange. Where's my alarm? This seems odd. I just feel like this. Why take your beta down for over a month and a half? That seems that's not a fix that you should have to make right now.
You also have to look at the fact that it's either you take it down now and do work on it, and you release it again in January or February at that time, or you leave it up and it becomes stale and you don't invite new people and people get angry they're not invited and people get bored with it, and that's something you definitely don't want in a beta, because nothing's going to happen in the next month. Like no one at Blizzard is seriously thinking about doing hard work right now. Like, it's the holidays.
At this point, they're just all like, well, how can we have more eggnog?
Yeah, everyone is checked out at this point. Like,
everyone is drinking at their desk, and
there's not a whole lot of productivity in between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
Yeah, no,
and it's not a free game, so it's not the transition between the beta straight into an open beta to things that carry over into their game release. That's not something that's going to happen. So and then the whole progression system is probably a huge deal. If they
they have yes, indeed, they have the holidays, and then plus I think there are some major things that they have to work on. They have to work on different game modes. They have to work on a lot of different features that will probably be progression features, like especially those little flippy cards at the end that show how great people have done over the course of the game. And then you look at some of them and you go, that's not that great. Why would I have, like, all four of them are like, it's just kind of mediocre,
I got a card one time for blocking 730 damage.
Which is nothing, which is that's really nothing. I mean, if you have over 10,000, that's cool. 700 is like, way to go, kid. Way to dip your toes in.
That's one encounter with a tracer or something. That's all that is.
So, but they do have a lot to work on. It's just, I think that the main part of the gameplay, super solid. Now it's time to really work on the meat of what that progression path is going to look like, get some different game modes in there, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think Dairies is right. They just don't want it to get stale over the holidays.
Yeah, because they'll probably...
I'm confused by that. I just... there are people who are that are playing the crap out of this game and would continue to play the crap out of this game.
Me too. I do that, yeah.
So the idea to me that... people have been playing this game for a while. The idea that it would get stale... it's in an alpha. Why do you care? Just leave it up and then give us a new build, or give the players that are in it a new build in January. Why take it down?
People playing tend to have a hard time understanding the fact that it's a beta or just an alpha or whatever it is, and they think this is the game, and then they get angry about it. And right now, when you've got the majority of people that are either people with a voice or people with a stream or something like that, you don't want them speaking negatively about your game. You don't want that negative press before the game.
So do you feel that they're pulling it before people catch on?
I think they're just pulling it before people get bored, or can say, or like, I'm playing the same map over and over in the same game mode, and
preserving
I want to do
the
something
hype.
Else. Yeah,
because there's a lot of the game that's not there yet. Right?
But do you feel that this game, because my experience with testing betas, most of the time Blizzard puts out pretty long, strong, drawn out betas to begin with, but they have pretty complicated games. I guess the question I have is, do you feel that this game is less difficult to program and balance and deliver than a MOBA or Hearthstone? Those games had very long, protracted betas that were never really interrupted for long durations of time. So my concern point is that there's something fundamentally wrong with how the gameplay is stacking up statistics-wise, that they're like, we need to rethink the game.
I don't think so. I think it's so with Heroes and Hearthstone and even WoW, when you get a beta or an alpha, it's almost feature complete. You've got almost everything in there to test and play with. Here, we've got the thinnest version of this game, and in the beta that comes out in January, I suspect they're going to have player progression and new game modes and things like that. And it's really hard to go from this to the next day you have all of this without some kind of extended downtime. It's almost like playing a new game. I just think they're saying we needed hype, we needed some numbers, we needed people to test a few things, so we released it. But the real beta is in January or February, whenever that happens.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, and I believe what you're saying, and I buy into it. And I'm going to let Tovo talk in a second. But there's a part of me that says, but you have what I feel is majority of what people are experiencing is incredibly positive out there. I don't see a lot of negative press about Overwatch.
Maybe what it is, and I'll let Tovo speak in a second. But maybe what it is the game time, right? So if we're seeing these game times of 8 minutes, of 7 minutes and stuff like that, that doesn't seem, maybe there's some kind of trigger there where they're saying, well, these games are pretty short. Maybe we should figure out a way to stretch them out a little bit more, or make them a little bit more, I don't know what. but 8 minutes per match. I mean, it seems relatively fast for that type of game. So,
and maybe it is all perception and hype and stuff like that. Maybe because there actually is a lot of negativity, not around the game necessarily, but just the whole beta invite process and all that stuff.
Sure.
The how limited it was. So maybe taking it down like this is just a way to call all of that. And maybe whenever they come back in January, they'll have a massive invite to the beta. Who knows?
Right.
I heard it suggested on another show. I think it was Patrick Beja was talking about it. He said he wouldn't be surprised if it takes it down again after it goes up in January before the sale, because they have to sell it. It can't just be, you don't just log on to an open beta or a game that's free and just play it. You know, you have to actually purchase the game,
right,
to play it. So that hype is a little bit more important, it seems like, in this type of scenario than it would be for Heroes that was, you just continued on through up until the game release, or Hearthstone, which you played until it was released and all of your stuff transferred over it at one point. You know what I mean? So it's more of the hype is more important, it feels like. And they're sort of manipulating that with this. I don't know.
Sure. One thing that we do know, there was a video that was released this week about Overwatch, and it was the developers just kind of talking about what are some of the common questions, what are some common concerns that their player base has. And one of the things that they said was that new maps and heroes, when they introduce them, would be free. They would just be automatically added to your game. That's huge. That is really, really big. And then everybody was like going, well, how are they gonna make money after the sale of the game? And and then people talked about sprays and hats, and Dairies likes hats.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, this is, you have to do this though with maps and heroes. You can't have that kind of fragmentation. I mean, every time that a game has done it, Call of Duty, Titanfall, every game like that, as soon as you fragment your player base, you're done. You lose the game. Yeah, you're done. So you just can't do that. You have to have this, and they will make a lot of money off of me from sprays and hats and things like that. So don't worry, I will fund Heroes or
Overwatch personally. Yeah. Don't worry, it'll all be good.
Yeah,
it'll all be good. All right. Hey, one last bit of business before we get out. I just want to talk about Heroes really quick, and Mick, I'll let you kind of take this over. But it looks like Refer a Friend is coming to Heroes, right?
Well, if you didn't like other things from other games leaking into the other games, then you're going to hate this too. So, yeah, they announced today that they're putting in a Recruit a Friend system for Heroes of the Storm. It doesn't work in any way, shape, or form like the Recruit a Friend does in World of Warcraft. You basically have to, the way it works is if you refer 4 people and then they level their accounts up to level 10, then you get the Vulture mount, which is a pretty cool StarCraft theme mount. So yes, you get a mount, but you have to get really 4 people involved in the game to make this work. And already there's a lot of folks that are a little upset that one of the cooler mounts that they kind of teased is going to kind of be put behind Refer a Friend. And 2, that it's too many people that you have to get to level 10 to make this, to achieve this. So there's been some criticism already that I think is justified. I think it's great when Blizzard does things that encourage people to be social with their gaming. I think that's great and wonderful, and all that is awesome and good stuff. But my caveat is, if Blizzard wants more people to play Heroes of the Storm, fix your matchmaking, give draft mode to quick match, and more people will play. That's it.
Right. And a cool mount. Sure.
And just give away cool mounts. Like Overwatch is doing. Just give away heroes from now on.
Just give away everything.
Just give them away. Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean it's good, and I've already seen folks like tossing their Recruit a Friend link to their Recruit a Friend website out on Facebook and all that good stuff. And I'm sure people are receiving it well, and it's never a bad thing. There's been some criticism, but the criticisms are minor, and we'll see how many of these mounts start to crop up and see if this actually works for Blizzard and starts to attract more people. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if they don't fix the matchmaking, then they're not gonna get these players to stick around and hang around.
So they still haven't done anything with matchmaking, as far as they talked about it at BlizzCon, which was great, right?
Yeah, they gave us the roadmap, which is great. But I don't think that we're gonna see anything until. Yeah, they were teasing a big surprise today. They were saying, we're going to have something. You're not going to have Lunara tomorrow. We're not going to make the schedule, but, hey, You're going to get something awesome tomorrow. And a lot of us thought maybe this is the first change for MMR, and instead it was Refer a Friend.
Yeah.
So, I think it was a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, the MMR stuff is now starting to be discussed as a reset could potentially happen when the first official season opens. So there's been a little bit of chat, not them saying they're going to do it, but talking around that topic. So there's some good stuff happening in terms of when it's going to be fixed, but it's got to get fixed sooner rather than later. And it really, at this point, should be their top priority.
Right. All right. Well, let's get out of here. But before we do, we will we'll take a look at some 5-star reviews. Dairies, what do we have for 5-star reviews for this week?
From
iTunes.
We have one this week. We have Leatherface KM. That is
Kilometer.
Okay, yes. Leatherface Kilometer.
Yes. Thank you very much. And thanks everybody for your YouTube comments and stuff like that. And if you ever want to find us, you can always just go to converttoradio.com, and that's where everything is, really. Any shout-outs this week, fellas? Anything? I know I want to give a big shout-out to the Convert to Mythic guys for their continued moose runs. That's always awesome. And even though signups are closed for now, we may see them open again in the future. Who knows? Mm-hmm. So
I do have something that's not a shout out, but
sure.
I do have something.
Go ahead.
On Saturday, this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're doing a little thing over on my Twitch channel. It's a holiday show that we're doing. So all the shows that I do that aren't Convert to Raid,
that's nice.
We're doing there. So all of our shows are going to be on in one shot. All the hosts, and we're giving away a lot of cool prizes. We've got a Alliance or Horde Jinx Legendary Pack. It's like 9 things from Jinx that we're going to be giving away. Some Gunner Optics glasses, some Corsair mechanical gaming keyboards, and some gaming mice. So a lot of cool stuff. It's at 7:30. It'll probably go from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Show up in the chat room and participate. You might walk away with a cool prize.
And that's Pacific time, and your Twitch channel is Spazbot Studios. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And I'll try to make sure we'll see if we can host it over at Convert to Raid as well.
Oh, awesome. I would super appreciate it.
We'll do what we can. Anybody else want to promote anything as long as we're at this point?
Tovo, sort of playing off what you were saying with the moose stuff in Convert to Mythic. AComp, whenever you came up with the idea and mentioned it to him, he sort of took off with it right away. And he's been doing a lot of the work behind the scenes. It seems like so. A lot of organizing and stuff.
AComp is doing a lot behind the scenes, and I know that he's doing even more right now. So be looking out for AComp. He
likes sending emails. That's for sure.
He really, really does. All right. With that, I'm going to stop that music, and then I'll play this stuff. There we go. And, of course, I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys out there listening at home, here in the chat room, you fellas joining me on the show. We cannot do this little thing without everybody's participation. Thank you for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback on YouTube. We're now on Google Play. Look out.
Yeah.
And you guys can always join in on the conversation at any time, and you can do that real easy. Just email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid or individually. Correct, Dairies?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. How do we do that?
Individual. Oh, okay. So Pat Crane is at Pat Crane with a K. Mm-hmm. I am at Bored Mind. Tovo is at LOS_gaming. That's the gaming in Spanish.
Yes.
And Mick Montgomery is Mick Montgomery.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you can always join the Bazooka Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com. That's where everything is. Videos, audios, forums, links for raiders, so much more, all over converttoraid.com. Our guild stuff is over there as well. For the live shows, you can head over to converttoraid.com/live. We're also on iTunes, now Google Play, like I said, and live streaming on alphageekradio.com for those that want to listen live through their mobile device or Roku. The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends at signalsmedia.com as a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Whew. And that's going to be it for the show. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And Mick and Tovo, I think this is going to be your last show of the year, so thank you guys for joining the show. Really, really appreciate you guys
see you guys next
joining
year.
the show. And and having fun with us all this time, and we'll be moving on to the future with you guys as well. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central. And for all the guys at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Happy New Year. I don't know.
Not yet.